Welcome, friends. It is Saturday morning, so we're going to do another one of our tests of the most watched recipe videos on YouTube. And this week, I'm thinking I just want to do a pork chop recipe. So let's see what comes up. And we filter that by view count. And the number one recipe is pork chop basics from the National Pork Board. Let's take a look. Pretty straightforward, pretty short, 40 seconds, easy peasy. However, the comment stream is to be expected. People complaining that it's not cooked enough and that the pork board doesn't know what safe pork is, which is kind of funny. And they'd also, apparently, the pork board doesn't know how to name the cuts. So let's get our pork chops and get started. So this is an incredibly easy recipe. This is the basics for cooking pork chops. And so you start out, you season both sides, salt and pepper. And salt and pepper, for a lot of people, is going to sound bland. They say, oh, that's horrible. You need to put all kinds of spices on it. And for the most part, I kind of agree with you. There are times when I want to put loads of flavor on meat. But a good piece of pork or beef or chicken, salt and pepper just makes it taste like it's supposed to taste. It's going to taste like meat. So, salt and pepper only. I've got a cast iron frying pan on a medium-high heat and a little bit of oil in. The pan is already pretty hot. And in go the pork chops. Now, the recipe says 4 to 7 minutes on each side on medium heat. So there's our first turn. So here's the deal. I have cooked these 4 minutes on each side, and I know that the recipe gives a range of 4 to 7 minutes, and that range is important because medium on my stovetop isn't going to be medium on your stovetop. The most important thing is temperature, and they say 145 degrees Fahrenheit and they're cooked. I know at 145 degrees Fahrenheit they're cooked because at 138 they're actually safe. So, I'm going to give these another turn and just probably another couple minutes more and they'll be ready to go. Now we take these out of the pan and we let them rest for 3 minutes. And we'll just check the temperature. 146. Oh, I went one over. 147. So the temperature will rise as these rest.
All right, so Glenn, you've gone back to just the bare roots of a pork chop recipe.
The basics. Sometimes the basics can be difficult because there's so much misinformation around them.
Oh, yeah. Pork chops.
Pork chops. And the number one piece of misinformation about pork is
how much you have to cook it to death?
And
that's an exaggeration, but yeah.
Pretty much. And then you end up with something that's super dry.
Yeah.
And then people fight it in all kinds of different ways by, we did a brined pork chop not too long ago, and you're trying to salt it and put water into it so that it isn't dry. But the reality is if you cook it...
This is nice, moist, hot.
Yeah.
What have you got on it?
Just salt and pepper.
Just salt and pepper.
Mm-hmm. So here's the thing. This is from the U.S. National Pork Board.
Mm-hmm.
They say 145 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
They also say that 138 is actually safe. So by giving you 145, they're giving you room
for some space in there.
A little bit of error. And the assumption is that you are going to use a thermometer. You should use a thermometer. And with a pork chop like this, if you're 145 in the thickest part, we were almost 160 at the really thin part.
Okay.
So some parts are going to be, you know,
Like anything, right?
Yeah.
Like anytime you cook something that has different thicknesses.
and
It's
also
nice texture though.
it's got a great,
Nice moisture.
a little bit of chew, which you kind of want your food to have some texture. And salt and pepper's pretty easy.
But you could do anything. So put it in your mouth. I got friends who would probably put green spice on it, or
Exactly.
I don't know,
You could put jerk spice on it.
Yeah.
And fry it the same way.
all those things.
And they didn't touch on it, but you know, there's enough drippings in there to make a really nice pan sauce
Yeah.
to pour over it afterwards. So the basics are: don't be afraid of pork, don't overcook your pork, cook it until it's safe, but don't overcook it. All in all, I think this is a great recipe. Although it's got
5 million.
5.5 million views for a 30-second video, which kind of leads me to believe that it's an ad. It's an ad. I know it's an ad. But that's fine, because I think this is information that people actually need.
The pork board is a legitimate source for information.
Yeah.
So,
Um,
enjoy. Give it a try.
it's a winner. Okay, let's get this on the table. Let's make a sauce with those pan drippings.